Hello guys, and welcome back to Getting Started in LabVIEW. And in today's example, we will look into how to launch Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word programmatically using LabVIEW, and we will also look into how to add a document into Microsoft Word and also add sheets, Excel sheets into Microsoft Excel. All this can actually be done by using the ActiveX function, which you can find in LabVIEW. You can actually find this function here in the Connectivity ActiveX palette. Now, as you all know that since the Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Office can be automated using the ActiveX function, you need to be aware of the three main functions that we will be using here, which is the open automation. Let's say if I place this automation open VI here, what you can see here is that it will actually return a reference. So because it is actually return a reference, we need to close the reference here. And now I'm going to be adding the automation reference. So what you need to do here, you just need to create a constant, and you will notice here is that this constant here actually doesn't have anything inside. It only has automation ref num. So we need to actually include the class of the Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. In this case, I'll be using Microsoft Word. So let's go to select active class here in the automation ref num constant and scroll to browse. A dialog will appear, and in the dialog you need to select the type library. In this case, I would like to select Microsoft Word 16.0 Object Library version 8.7. Now this type library version could differ depending on the Office version that is installed in your PC, so you just need to make sure of that. And once you have selected this, you need to choose application Word .application.16. In this case, my version is actually 16, so you can actually see 16 here. So let's click OK, and now that I've already selected the application, I want to make my application appear. To do that, we actually need to use the property node of the ActiveX function here. Oh, maybe I can just put in here property node, select, and in the application properties, I need to make it visible. I need to make it appear, so I just need to enable it to enable the visibility of the application here. So let's change all to right. Oh. Create a constant and make it true. Close the reference. Now let's run this first. Now if I run this code, what will happen here is that the Office, the Microsoft Word application now appear, but it appears blank because I have not added any documents into it. So to add the document, I actually need to access the properties itself. So let's remove the wire here, and in the application I need to access the documents itself. Documents, and now once I have accessed the document class, you can see this is actually a class by itself. I need to add a document into the Word application. So this requires an invoke node, which is a method. Once I have accessed the methods of the document, you can see there are several functions here. I can actually add a document, I can open a document, I can save a document. So let's add the document, and here you will realize that I have two different instance of a class, which is the document and also the application. So I need to make sure that I close the reference for each of these classes. And to make it as a flow, I always make sure that I wire the error wire in all of these property nodes and invoke nodes. Once I have done this, let's run this VI here, and you will see a Word application will appear together with a document. Oh, sorry. So now you can see it actually appears here. Let me try that one more time. I run this, and the Word application will appear with the document here. Now the same thing can also be done using Excel with ActiveX. Here is an example of using Word document, Word application. We can also do the same thing here using Excel. The only difference is that you need to change the properties of the workbooks and also the workbooks here. Now in in Word application, you actually have documents, and in the document, you need to add the document. In Excel, it works differently, where you need to call the workbook within the application class. So you can actually see here that you need to actually call the workbook to access the workbook class. Then only you can actually add a sheet into it, the Excel sheet. So let's see here. It's much more longer than I expected. You can actually have the workbook here. So if I were to, let's say, disable this function to launch the application only, let's call this disable structure. I just want to show the application visible. Now in this code here, it will only launch the Excel but will not add the workbook. So you should see the Excel actually doesn't appear as it is, but if I add this, now you can actually see the workbook here together with the Excel sheet. The reason is because it's very rare to actually launch an Excel without having any sheets. That's the reason why the Excel sheet doesn't really appear. So this is an example on how to programmatically launch Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel application in LabVIEW using ActiveX functions.